May 12, 1945.
Did so mocking a fantasy obsess the mind of mortal man?
2:47 in the afternoon. Kreuzberg District, Berlin. Klaus Becker crouches behind what used to be someone's living room wall. He's 15 years old.
To resist him by land and sea. We shall be on his track wherever he goes. He will find no peace, no rest, no halting place, no parley.
The Panzerfaust anti-tank weapon lies across his thin shoulders, heavy and awkward. His hands shake, from fear, from exhaustion, from 3 days without real food. The uniform they gave him 2 weeks ago hangs loose on his frame. Through the dust and smoke, he hears them coming. The grinding treads of American tanks. The shouts in English. The systematic advance that has swept through the city, block by block, making his unit, 12 terrified boys and 3 old men, fall back until there's nowhere left to retreat. Klaus lifts the Panzerfaust. His training echoes in his head, the words his Hitler Youth leader drilled into him every week since he was 10 years old. The Americans are barbarians who will kill prisoners. Better to die fighting for the Führer than surrender to beasts who show no mercy. His squadron leader, an SS officer who disappeared yesterday, had been explicit: they will torture you, then execute you. Fight to the death, or use your last bullet on yourself. Klaus believed it completely. Why wouldn't he? It's all he's been told for years. The tank rumbles closer. 30 meters now. Klaus's finger finds the trigger. But what Klaus doesn't know is that in the next 7 minutes, everything he's been taught will collapse. And the monsters he's been promised will give him something he hasn't tasted in 6 years. Mercy. By May 1945, Nazi Germany was dying. But it's not dying quietly. September 25, 1944. Hitler issues a decree creating the Volkssturm, the People's Storm. Every male aged 16 to 60 not already in military service is conscripted. As Germany's situation grows desperate, the age limits become meaningless. Boys as young as 12 find themselves drafted. Total Volkssturm conscription, 1944 to 45, approximately 6 million. Teenagers in combat, ages 12 to 17, estimated 100,000 to 150,000. Training period, typically 1 to 2 weeks. Sometimes only days. Klaus Becker's unit received 3 days of training. How to fire a rifle. How to use a Panzerfaust. Where to aim at tanks. Then they were sent to defensive positions with instructions to hold against American forces. We were 12 boys and 3 old men, Klaus recalled decades later. The oldest boy was 17. The youngest was 13. We had 8 rifles between us, 4 Panzerfausts, and maybe 50 bullets total. Our officer told us we'd be shot if we retreated. Then he disappeared the first day. We were children with guns, terrified, hungry, waiting to die. But the real weapon wasn't the Panzerfaust in Klaus's hands. It was the lie in his head. The conditioning began young. Klaus joined the Hitler Youth at age 10, membership was mandatory. Every week, military drills, ideological training, lessons in racial superiority and enemy subhumanity. School textbooks described Allied atrocities in graphic detail. Radio broadcasts detailed supposed massacres of German prisoners. Films showed American soldiers as sadistic monsters. The message was systematic. Repetitive. Inescapable. Surrender means torture. Surrender means rape. Surrender means execution. Better to die fighting than face what the enemy will do to you. Hermann Schultz, 16 years old, was captured near Würzburg in April 1945. I'd been told Americans skinned prisoners alive. That they cut off body parts as trophies. When American soldiers surrounded our position and called for surrender, I tried to kill myself. I put my rifle barrel in my mouth. An American knocked it away before I could fire. I was crying, begging him to just shoot me quickly. He looked horrified. He kept saying, "Jesus Christ, he's just a kid." The propaganda created soldiers who would fight with suicidal determination. Children who carried cyanide capsules. Boys who saved their last bullet for themselves rather than risk capture. Which meant that American forces advancing into Germany were unprepared for what they would face. Not just enemy soldiers. Enemy children. Sergeant Robert Mitchell, 3rd Infantry Division, had fought across Europe. North Africa. Sicily. France. Nothing prepared him for a village near Nuremberg in April 1945. We were clearing a village when fire came from a building. We returned fire, then stormed the position. Inside were 5 kids. Maybe 14 or 15 years old. 2 were dead from our fire. 3 surrendered. They were terrified. Crying. Expecting us to execute them. The guy next to me started crying too. He had a son about that age back home. We just killed children because they were shooting at us. The encounters created impossible moral dilemmas. German children, indoctrinated and armed, posed genuine threats. But killing children, even armed, hostile children, violated fundamental human instincts. American soldiers found themselves caught between military necessity and moral revulsion. The solution most units adopted wasn't official policy. It was individual soldiers making moral choices in real time, aggressive attempts to capture rather than kill. Call for surrender in German. Use loudspeakers. Hold fire when possible. Give children opportunities to quit fighting. German child soldiers in combat against American forces, March-May 1945, 40,000 to 60,000. Killed in action, approximately 15,000 to 20,000. Captured, approximately 18,000 to 25,000. Which brings us back to May 12, 1945. Kreuzberg District. Klaus Becker with a Panzerfaust. And an American tank commander is about to make a choice. The tank stops. The turret traverses, the main gun swinging toward Klaus's position. He closes his eyes, waiting for the 75mm shell that will end him. Instead, a voice. Loud. Speaking terrible German. Komm raus, Junge. Waffen runter. Come out, boy. Weapons down. They're calling him boy. Not an enemy. Not target. Boy. The soldier opens the crate to reveal chocolate bars. Hershey's. American chocolate. He begins distributing them to the German boys. 1 per prisoner. Für Juk. Gut Kinder. For you. Good children. Klaus stares at the chocolate bar in his hand. The last time he tasted chocolate was before the war. When he was 9 years old. 6 years ago. When he'd been a child instead of a soldier. The American notices Klaus's expression. Krieg ist vorbei. War is over. Then in English, you get to be kids again. Klaus looks around. Some are crying silently. Others are staring at their chocolate, unable to process this kindness. A few are already eating. He takes a bite. The sweetness is overwhelming. Not just the chocolate. The meaning. Klaus begins crying. Not from fear or hunger or pain, but from the collapse of everything he'd believed. The propaganda had been lies. The Americans weren't monsters. He'd nearly died fighting for evil. And the people who defeated that evil were treating him with more kindness than his own government had ever shown. The soldier looks concerned. Alice gut? Is everything okay? Klaus nods, unable to speak. He holds up the chocolate bar in trembling hands, a gesture of thanks that transcends language. The soldier understands. Nods back. Moves on to distribute more chocolate to more children who'd been sent to fight and kill for a regime that had betrayed them. In this moment, with chocolate melting in his mouth and tears streaming down his face, Klaus Becker understands what mercy means. It means Americans giving chocolate to German boys who tried to kill them. It means treating children like children, even when those children had been turned into soldiers. It means choosing humanity over hatred. Forgiveness over revenge. The war was over. Klaus Becker was 15 years old. And for the first time in years, he had a future worth living for. Given to him by enemies who'd become his liberators. Who'd shown him that even after the worst humanity could inflict, mercy remained possible. Klaus Becker spent 7 months in a POW camp near Mannheim. He was fed regularly, given medical care, taught English by a guard who had sons his age. In November 1945, he returned to Berlin. His family's home was destroyed. His father was dead. His mother lived in a basement. When she saw Klaus, healthy, well-fed, alive, she cried. She'd assumed he was dead. Volkssturm casualties had been so high. All the propaganda told us Americans would kill prisoners, she said. I'd grieved for you. Now you come home healthy, treated well by the people who were supposed to be monsters. Everything they told us was lies. This pattern repeated across Germany. Families expecting their children to have been killed instead received them back alive. Captured child soldiers repatriated alive, approximately 95%. Klaus Becker lived to age 89. He became a teacher in post-war Germany, an advocate for democracy and German-American friendship. When asked about his experience, he always returned to the same moment. I was a child with a gun, sent to die for lies. Americans had every reason to kill me. Instead, they showed me mercy. That water, that chocolate, it taught me more about civilization than 10 years of Nazi indoctrination ever could. May 12, 1945. Klaus Becker was 15 years old, crouched behind rubble with a Panzerfaust and a head full of lies. 7 minutes later, an American soldier gave him water. 6 months later, another gave him chocolate. And Klaus Becker learned that not all truths come from your own side.